I'm Larry Huzi. Let's get started on our elevated design. The base of this design is a pine board that was distressed. We're going to start off by adding a few leaves that I color enhanced with copper and brass. Let us get our hot glue and we'll hot glue some leaves on. This will add color, it'll add texture. There's many shapes. We'll put some here in the center. We'll put a few. Don't worry that they're curled. We'll get a few more on here. There we go. Got some oaks leaf, I think, than any of the other ones that I tried. There we go. And next we're going to add American chestnut burrs. I have some open and some, we'll put enough hot glue on there. Normally I would have my glue pan, but glue pan just takes up too much space. So we'll deal with this. Pressing it down. Yes, these are prickery. But the texture they add is just amazing. That we're doing. Okay, this is what we have now. Now we're going to start drilling our holes for our sticks. I'm going to put some wood underneath so I don't drill through. We're going to drill probably 25 or 30 holes. Drilled, we're going to be inserting sticks. The sticks we're using, I was walking in the woods and I noticed there was a tree that had toppled during a storm. I investigated and I was able to pull sticks off. And this is how we have our rustic sticks. This is what we're using. I already trimmed the ends on them. I use a product called U-Glue to attach test tubes or tubes to the sticks. The U-Glue dashes come in a box. There's tabs, there's an end, it's a sticky substance that's very, very sticky. I cut the tabs in thirds because you really don't need much. A third is more than enough. to hold the test tube on. It makes it pretty firm. Put them on. At the beginning of each tab, there's a little space to make it easier, so you can get your nail under it and take the outer part of it off. Here it is again. You watch where you put them. You also try not to touch the sticky end. Okay, it's just a simple matter of putting it on, holding it, and you have a pretty tight fit. We're going to use a little more hot glue on our sticks, and we're inserting them. We have all the water tubes in. They're all glued. Now we can start with another layer. We're going to add bayberry. It adds texture. Bayberry was used by colonial times to make bayberry candles. And we're just adding this in. This will aid two things. It'll add texture, and it'll also help the plant material to stay up. It'll add stability to the plant material that we're going to put in. We're all done. Now we can fill our tubes. To fill our tubes, we use a fill bottle, which is also a tattoo wash bottle. Now that we have the bayberry all in, and our water tubes filled with flower food, which is very important. Flower food itself has a sugar to feed. It has a biocide for water clarity and an acidifier to adjust the water pH, so it's somewhere around 3.5. We're now laying in a little bit of what looks like fern. I found it in a big box store. It happens to be a moss. It's called rainbow moss. It's very interesting. And by adding it in and just letting it naturally drape, it's really interesting. By just adding it in, making sure it hits the water, and just letting it drape. It's a native to our, not native, it's a warm weather moss. It's a beautiful moss. I wanted something to add a little bit of grace, just to drape over. And this really is, really turned out to be quite nice. So you can find plant material all over. And always when you cut plant material, it's best to cut it with either a knife or bypass scissors, pruners. I like to use, I treated myself and bought a pair of Ikebana shears or Japanese scissors, and they work out quite well. Add a little bit more. I didn't want to cover everything over. I just wanted to have a natural look. It's very light. The bayberry helps a lot. Positioning plant material. It has a nice light, very soft touch. Now that we have this set, now that we have the plant material, we're going to start adding our flower material. And we're going to tie it with a product called bind wire. It's a paper covered wire. And since we need a lot of it, ties, instead of cutting each one, what I do is you wrap it around your hand, and this makes a few ties. Hopefully we have enough. And by taking shears or some other implement, we have a bunch of them. So we'll start off with our calla lilies. Calla lilies, I've had them out of water for probably 15-20 minutes, room temp. I want them to arc, and if they're cool, they're very turgid, as you see here. This one, if I could bend it a little, if I really tried to bend it, it'll snap. So the best way is to leave them out, and you can slowly manipulate them. There's another method by which the calla lilies, you take a peel off the back and they'll also bend, but when you do that, as with anything, you're shortening the life of the product, so I would recommend not doing that way. I like doing it the way I had just described. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to insert it into a tube. I'm going close, so take that one. And we're going to bring it around to our bayberry and take a piece of the bind wire and secure it. There we go. And a little snip. There. And the calla lily is cascading. We'll do the same for the other side. We'll manipulate it a little. And we'll see. We want them both about the same. Some things you can rush and some things you can't. This happens to be one of them. Cutting it. Feeding it through. Here we go. We have a nice arcing effect. Next we're going to be adding some marigolds to the base. And now we'll add our Gloriosa lilies. These are the sweetest flower. They'll be dancing above. Just so delicate. Always when you use flowers, you should always cut the stem for the red and yellow variety. Glorioso, I think they're Rothschild. it a rustic autumnal table design. Thank you very much for viewing this video. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe. Comments and questions are always welcome.